Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today afternoon news for Thursday, February 8th. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Our top story this afternoon, government's contentious police amendment bill, which seeks to increase the powers of the police in fighting crime, could be put on hold. Speaking on the sidelines of the annual police conference at Solidarity House this morning, Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite said he would revisit the measure. Brathwaite was responding to a question from Barbados Today as to whether he thinks there should be further consultation on the proposed legislation in light of calls to do so. But he dismissed fears raised by some commentators, including members of the Barbados Bar Association, that the provisions of the bill are not in keeping with the guaranteed civil rights and freedoms available to citizens. Brathwaite says it is a case of much ado about nothing with respect to suggestions of high-handedness on the part of the police, particularly regarding stop and search, entering people's premises, and curfews.
I believe that the misinformation has gone up there. I will spend some time on it on Sunday in a different place.
Meanwhile, Police Commissioner Tyrone Griffith says violent crime continues to be the force's main concern. Against the backdrop of recent stabbings at schools, Griffith said his constabulary is doing all it can at the institutions, but he believes other agencies also need to play their part.
We already do quite a bit in the schools. I think there are other agencies that need to step up. We give leadership to a lot of the programs, but really looking for the social agencies to be involved and work with us in the situation. But it's one that we are not to do whatever we can.
In other news, details are emerging of the case against the former Commissioner of Police, Darwin Doughton, who is accused of being behind alleged wiretapping between 2000 and 2009. The issue arose after a suspended policeman alleged in 2010 that phones of senior officials are being tapped. The Police Service Commission subsequently investigated the claims and wrote to the then Governor General, Sir Elliot Belgrave, accusing Doughton of conducting unlawful wiretapping of innocent victims. He recommended his retirement in the public's interest. Barbados Today obtained a copy of the damning 16-page document dated June 10, 2013. The PSC explained that the conduct of the former police chief amounted to a criminal offense, but it said it was impossible to prosecute him given the fact that as commissioner, he was responsible for commencing criminal proceedings. Teaching staff of the Grantley Adams Memorial School are today meeting with the Parliamentary Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Harry Husbands, and other officials following a stabbing at that institution. Earlier this week, 3 15-year-old boys were stabbed during an altercation at the school. A 12-year-old girl was also struck by a stone and was injured on her leg during the incident. 2 boys have been assisting police with their investigations. The head of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, Mary Redmond, told Barbados Today earlier that the teachers decided to invoke Article 1 of the Health and Safety Act and remove themselves from what they say is an unsafe environment. Classes were suspended today to facilitate the meeting.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. The president of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Warren Smith, has announced that the bank will make up to $800 million available to the hurricane-affected member countries to assist with rebuilding efforts. Dr. Smith told the bank's annual news conference yesterday that this is part of its shift towards disaster risk management and resilience building in borrowing member countries.
Disaster risk management and resilience building took center stage again in CDB's strategic responses to the challenges facing our borrowing members. In recent times, we have been expanding our capacity to assist our countries in the area of disaster management. With the adoption in 2009 of the Disaster Management Strategy and Operational Guidelines, DIMSOG as we like to call it, we have reorganized our operations and we have put in place the appropriate supporting policy framework. After a period of testing in 2017, CDB initiated systematic screening for climate risks in all its investment projects and in its country strategy work. As a consequence, we are now financing infrastructure projects that are more climate resilient.
On the international scene, aftershocks are hampering rescue efforts as emergency crews combed through collapsed buildings in search of survivors from Tuesday's powerful earthquake in Taiwan. At least 10 people were killed near the country's tourist city of Hualien. The details in this Reuters report.
More than 200 aftershocks have impacted rescue efforts after Taiwan's deadly earthquake. Emergency teams raced to uncover survivors in the early hours of Thursday morning, looking for any still trapped in the rubble. It's the aftermath of a powerful 6.4 magnitude earthquake that struck the city of Hualien Tuesday. At least 10 people are dead, more than 250 injured, and many are still missing. The tremor tore apart pavements and shattered buildings, bringing at least 4 down, like this one, now propped up but looming over a built-up area as aftershocks rattle the city. Too scared to go home, residents have sought safety in shelters like this stadium, waiting out the tremors, including another smaller earthquake late on Wednesday. Hualien lies close to Taiwan's east coast. The island sits between 2 tectonic plates and is prone to earthquakes. More than 600 soldiers and over 1,000 police are joining the rescue efforts. The government says aftershocks could rock the island for the next 2 weeks.
That's news this afternoon. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.